Hi everybody and welcome to this week's vlog and welcome to the long-awaited house tour. If you're new here, my name is Katie and we moved to Florida in March 2024 with my husband Jason and my daughter Zara, who is 14, and we live in the Central Florida area. If you're not new here, then you know all of that information already. So thank you for watching the vlogs, thank you for coming along to watch the house tour, and I hope you enjoy it. I'll try and give you as much information as I possibly can as I'm going around talking about the house and talking about why we chose it and everything like that. So come along with me and see what our house looks like. So as you walk in the front door, we've got a nice little corridor here. It's quite a wide entranceway, so there is plenty of space. And right next to the front door is our guest room. So one of the reasons that we chose this house was one of our criteria is that we wanted a guest room downstairs. Now a lot of Florida homes, I don't know, maybe it's other American homes, I'm not really sure, are built in the way that they have the master bedroom downstairs. Now that was something we didn't want. We did not want the master bedroom downstairs, we wanted it upstairs. It's not the norm in the UK unless you live in a bungalow or a one-storey home. It's not the norm in the UK to have your bedroom downstairs, and we just didn't want the bedroom downstairs. We all wanted to be upstairs on the same level. And that was one of, I didn't mind single-storey homes. Jason was the one who said he wanted a two-storey home, so that was what we went for. So once we knew we needed a two-storey home, I then decided that I wanted the downstairs to have a nice guest area that we could have people over and they had their own space, their own bathroom, and it, you know, made them feel like they were on holiday as well, not just visiting family. So I think this house does that perfectly. So this is the guest room. It's nice and bright, as you can see, we're on the ground floor here. The white furniture is all from Ashley Furniture Store. And the bedding, I think, is from Target. And then in here, they have a bathroom. So if you're lucky enough to have already stayed with me, then you will have seen all of this before. But if not, then we have a nice bathroom here that's got everything a guest would want. Some nice storage. And an over the bath shower situation, and then also a nice little walk-in wardrobe. So there's plenty of room in there to store all of your suitcases and hang all of your bits and pieces up. So this was exactly what I was looking for. I wanted a self-contained sort of area so that people didn't feel like they were on top of us, or we didn't feel like that, and it was just a nice airy space for people to stay. So, and we've had plenty of visitors, so I think it's working out pretty well, the guest room. Right next to the guest room is just a cupboard. I just have a load of rubbish stored in there, to be honest. Some decorations and cards and things like that that you don't necessarily use all of the time. So we're back to the front door here. And then we have this small little area here. I don't really know what you would call that. Ignore that glass furniture. That's just stuff that's come from the UK, but it's smashed and I've just not got rid of it. We have a nice bench here so you can sit and put your shoes on. And then in here is the garage. So there is our garage. It's quite big. It's a tandem garage, which means that there's room for two cars here, and then it also goes all the way back down there too. We only have one car, so we don't really need a garage this big, but it's nice to have the space. We've obviously put some shelving on this side just to keep, everybody has stuff that they need to keep in the garage, don't they? And we've got some kind of tool bench apparently on the side here, and then we keep the bin in here, the one that doesn't have any food waste or anything in it. Obviously we keep the car in here. We do park our car in the garage every single night, and that's just to keep it cool, keep the weather off it. Just why not park the car in the garage? And we have other bits and pieces in here, like I keep the Hoover in here. It just stops it from looking ugly on the wall on the inside. And then if I find the light, let's find the light. There we go. And then Jason has turned the tandem part of the garage into a little bit of a gym. So he's got a treadmill and some weights and other things like that, and a England flag on the wall, of course. We are proud to be English. And then I have a freezer in the back with just some extra bits and pieces that I need in there. I think that tank is just like the hot water tank. There's some furniture still wrapped up there that came from England because the table was actually smashed. But yeah, so there we go. We have a big spacious garage. I think on this model home there was an option to turn this tandem area into another room. But when we bought this house, they'd already decided how the house was going to look. Even though it wasn't off the ground yet, they'd already decided how it would look, and we couldn't actually change any of the configurations. So this is a Pulte home. Pulte is the name of the builder who built it. And like I say, when we bought it, they'd already decided that on this plot would be this type of house, and they'd already decided the configurations of it, because there was a couple of options. If you'd have bought off plan, then there was a couple of options to change, like I say, the garage into another room, and the door would be here behind me in this corridor, and there was also an option to change the dining room into like an office flex room next door. I've actually got that option, so I've seen what that looks like, but it does make the living room area feel a little bit more enclosed, so I'm glad we don't have that, to be honest. And we definitely don't need that extra room downstairs. We've got plenty of other rooms. The other issue with not being able to decide how the house was going to look was that they also wouldn't let us change anything else at all. So once they've decided, apparently it passes loads of checks, and it has to be, I don't know, somebody has to decide that this is how the house is going to look, and then once they've decided that and it's passed everything, they then can't change anything, even down to the colour of the taps or anything like that. So please be aware, if you're buying somewhere here and you want to choose everything like that, then you will need to buy off plan. Some builders might be different, but I think that's probably a Florida thing rather than a builder thing. We did get to see our house being built up off the ground. Not in person, because we still actually lived in the Middle East. Yes, we bought this house on the internet. We'd never seen it before. We took a risk and bought it. We had seen other houses in the area, and we had decided how big of a house we wanted and which area we wanted it to be. Another piece of important information is that this house is 3,400 square feet. Now, in the UK, you would rarely see a house advertised with its square footage on it. That's just not how we do it in the UK. I have seen it on the odd time, but you wouldn't see a house advertised and it would tell you how many square feet it would be. So when we were looking for homes, we were like, oh, this is 2,000 square feet, this is 3,000 square feet. I was like, well, what does that mean? So we took a trip to the US to make sure that we knew what that looked like, and we knew that we needed whatever square foot house, because otherwise you're looking on the internet and you don't know how big that is, and they do make the pictures look a lot bigger on the internet as well. So I can imagine if you weren't careful, you could buy something that was definitely too small, and we wanted to just buy something that was maybe a little bit too big for us, knowing that we'd rather have the extra space than not have enough space and have to move in the future. So back to the tour now. So we come to another door here, which is an understairs cupboard. Now, don't judge all of these shoes and everything here. Everybody has them, don't they? And the mop and bucket. But this cupboard actually goes all the way around and underneath the stairs. It is very big in there. And then we come into like the dining room, flex room, if you want to call it. Now, this room is actually my next project. I've debated on what to do with this room for a long time, and ignore that unit there. That unit is gone, and I'm going to do something nice with this wall, shelving and a long low unit there, and it's got some odd furniture over here that is from our UK house. Yeah, so that's the next project, this area. But I've actually got used to the open area now, so I don't really want to put any big furniture here. The plan was to put a dining table there. Well, in our shipment, we shipped over our furniture from the UK, and unfortunately the dining table was smashed. It was a marble table, and the marble was broken in half. And I was already thinking, do I want to put a dining table there? Well, that made my decision, because then we didn't have the dining table to put there. So I've since decided that we won't be replacing the dining table, and I'm going to leave that as a nice open area. I'm more thinking a nice long low unit at the bottom, walls painted and some shelving, and then maybe it's like a cosy chair in the corner just as an extra seat. If we've got a lot of people around, you can always use more seats. And maybe it's like a little book corner, something like that. I just want to make it a bit more homely and a bit more cosy. So then we have the stairs up there, but we'll go up there shortly. And then the next door here is the downstairs toilet. There we go. It's just a downstairs toilet. That's all it is. And then we have the living room. Now the living room furniture is from Ashley Furniture, same as the bedroom furniture that you've just seen in there. The TV cabinet, I can't remember where that's from, to be honest. The chair is from Ashley Furniture as well, and so is the coffee table. The rug is from Amazon, but again, ignore that because that is on my list to change because I don't like it. We love having the open plan style house. It's really nice because then I don't like loads of rooms. It's nice to just be open and you feel the size of the house as well. Everybody who comes in here who watches the vlogs always says the house is a lot bigger in person than it is on the vlogs. So I don't know, because if I watch the vlogs, it's just my house, so I don't really notice. But every single person who's walked in here said that it looks a lot bigger in person than it does on the TV screen. So from the living room, then we've got quite a large area, which is really just a walk-through area. I wouldn't imagine putting any furniture or anything there. And then we have a small drinks cabinet there. And then the kitchen. Those chairs are from IKEA. And the fridge freezer was just from Best Buy. It didn't come with the house. And then this table and chairs, so this is like the breakfast room, and this table and chairs was from Rooms to Go. Again, the kitchen was one of my criterias that I didn't want to compromise on. We lived in the Middle East for 10 years before we lived here, and because of that we lived in rented. It wasn't possible to buy a home there, and if any of you have ever lived in the Middle East or been to the Middle East, you will know that all of their kitchens are really dark and dingy and just not very nice at all, brown cupboard doors, and I was like, I do not want a brown kitchen. I want a white kitchen or a lighter colour, and that was one of my things that was at the top of my list that I did not want to compromise on. Now I made a couple of mistakes where that was concerned, because I just had blinkers on of a white kitchen. Now what I didn't pick up on was the kitchen, I think, is quite basic. It's not supposed to be the basic package, but I wouldn't like to say what the basic package was. But they're not soft closing doors. It didn't have any handles on it. I have heard that that is the norm, and a lot of people don't get handles with their kitchen cupboards. To me, that was just like, where's the handles? And you don't get them. I done them all myself. If you go back to the vlogs from, I don't know how long ago that was, I put all of the handles on myself. It was actually pretty easy to do, and I just decided to go with black. These are actually stick-on tiles, so they're not real tiles, because I hated the tiles underneath. They were like just white oblong tiles, but they weren't even like subway tiles where they were staggered. They were just stuck on straight up, really cheap and not well done at all. But I will get it tiled properly eventually, but to be honest with you, those stick-on tiles have been on for months now and they look absolutely fine. They clean really easily. I've got no complaints. So at the moment, that's how we'll keep it. Now, And then off the kitchen, we have a pantry. Now, I did try and clean this pantry out a few weeks ago, and I did make it look a little bit better, putting things in these nice boxes and making it neat. But you know what it's like, it just gets messy again after time, doesn't it? We do have a very big stash of crisps and chocolate, thanks to all of my amazing viewers. And I love having a pantry. That is one of the best things about American homes. You don't have things like this in England, like definitely not. This is absolutely great that you just put it all in one place and you shut the door. I absolutely love it. It's definitely one of the best features of living in an American home. So then we can go outside now and look at our outside area. So we have double doors here, they're like sliding glass doors that go to the outside, but also there is pocket doors here. Now these doors slide all the way back that way and you can't see them, it's completely frameless. So in the winter when you can have those doors open, it's like another room. It's so nice, and it was one of the things that attracted us to this house. So we'll go outside. Now the furniture is all stacked up just because it rains every day, but I usually leave these two chairs here because it's undercover so they don't really get wet. Like I say, once these doors are open here, it's like an extension to the house. It looks really nice when the doors are open. It looks really smart and it just gives you that extra feeling of space. And it was definitely one of the things that attracted us to this house, because other houses that we were looking at didn't have that kind of setup. And one of the other things on the criteria was a covered patio outside, because you know how much it rains in Florida, and it's nice to be able to sit back here and watch the rain. Sometimes the rain is too heavy and it actually comes in and gets you soaked anyway, but a lot of the time you can sit here and just watch the rain. So we absolutely love doing that, watching the thunder and the lightning off in the distance. It's great. The outside furniture we got from Rooms to Go Patio, and it's really comfy and nice quality. I'm really pleased with it. We do have a barbecue there that's obviously all covered up. And then this is our garden outside. The fence we put up ourselves. Well, not actually ourselves, we paid somebody to do it. We do have a generator as well, which is what that white box is there. And those two grey boxes are the air conditioning machines. We have two air conditioning machines because depending on what the square footage of your house is, if it's over a certain square feet, then you have to have one for downstairs, one for upstairs, which is what we've got. You'll see the machines when we go upstairs to do the upstairs part of the tour. They do look a bit ugly in the garden. The generator looks even uglier, and the tank in the corner looks even worse again. But we do have quite a lot of power cuts here. I think it might be due to the fact that it is a new, like it's a new build estate, we would call it, or a new build community, whatever you want to call it. It's been happening less recently, but last year when we had Hurricane Milton, we lost power for 4 days. So, and we are at the peak of hurricane season again. Fingers crossed, we haven't had anything up to now, so I'm hoping that it continues. But yeah, we got the fence put in quite quickly actually, because if you look that way, you can see that next door's patio is right on ours. So you would just be looking at next door, which we didn't want to do. So we got the fence put in. I think the fence was around about $5,000 or $6,000. And we also changed the palm tree because it was a rubbish tree that they put in. So we got that changed. And then we got the generator installed earlier in the year. And I think that was around $15,000 for the generator. Now, one big question that we get about the house all the time is, will you be getting a pool? And the answer to that is no. Number one, we're not really pool people, not really bothered about swimming pools. Secondly, they cost a lot of money, like a lot of money. And a lot of people say, well, why didn't you buy a house with a pool? The problem is with Central Florida, if any of you are familiar with them, there's a lot of older homes and they would come with a swimming pool, whereas the newer homes, they don't really get built with pools anymore, not unless you're spending in the millions. And we didn't want to buy an older home because we didn't know anybody here. We didn't want to have to do any work. We just wanted to be able to move in. We didn't want to have to rip bathrooms out and kitchens and everything like that. Just wasn't in the frame of mind to do that. So we decided to go with a new build home, knowing that it wouldn't have a swimming pool. We do have a community pool and it is really nice. It's about 5 doors up the road. So it's a 2 or 3 minute walk. It's not inconvenient at all. The only reason I would like a pool here is for the aesthetic of it. They look fantastic. Why wouldn't you want to look out to a swimming pool? Looking at water is lovely, but for the cost of them, I don't think it would add that much value to the house. And yeah, well, it's just a lot of money. It's just a lot of money for something to just look nice. I think maybe extending the patio is probably something that would be more likely to do in the future rather than getting a swimming pool, because if you could extend the patio, then you can just make this space a little bit bigger, because when there's a few of you sat out here, it can be a little bit cramped, but mainly that's probably because of the furniture that we chose is quite chunky. But yeah, we'll see. There's plenty of time, isn't there, to make all of these changes. So let's go upstairs for the upstairs part of the tour. So this is our second spare room. This furniture we actually brought over from the UK. And this room has a walk-in wardrobe as well. Excuse the mess in here, but it's just where we keep our suitcases and just the extra quilts and things like that. And just the blow-up beds and everything extra that we need in that wardrobe. So I decided to go with a pink theme in this room, seeing as the furniture was like grey, so I thought grey and pink goes together. So this is the second spare room. So when we've got guests that the downstairs room is taken, then we've got this room as well. So it's nice to have that extra space, and believe me, we've used all of this summer. It has definitely been put to use. And for the guests staying in this room, they have the use of their own bathroom because none of us use it. So this is the bathroom that they get to use. Again, I went with the like pink theme with the bright pink. They probably look red on the camera, but they're not, they're bright pink. So they've got a shower tub situation and plenty of storage there to put all of their bits and pieces away. And another thing we loved about this house was how spacious the landing was upstairs. Now this banister here, this was actually an extra. Again, it was already chosen, we didn't have a choice, but I am glad it's got it there because otherwise it would just be like a solid white wall there. That would be the basic, and I think it would make it a lot more like closed in. So it's nice to have it all open up here. It does feel really nice and airy when you walk upstairs. And this furniture here was also brought from the UK. All of this wood furniture that you see was brought from the UK is from Oak Furnitureland if you're from the UK. And this is the loft room and the room that nobody ever uses. So again, this furniture is from the UK, this sofa set is from Barker & Stonehouse, and the wood furniture is again from Oak Furnitureland. And this is a huge room up here that we never use. We really do need to think about maybe making this room a little bit more exciting or doing something with it, but I just haven't got around to it. But it is an extra room that you could come up here and watch the TV in, but honestly, none of us ever do. There is only 3 of us in here, and half of the month there's only 2 of us in here when Jason's at work, so And I'm sure that if you maybe had kids that like gaming or anything like that, then this will be the perfect room for them. Maybe when Zara's a little bit older, maybe she might have her friends around or something like that, and this room will get used, but at the moment it doesn't get used. I literally just come in here to hoover and dust, that's it. This is the cupboard I was telling you about that just has the 2 air conditioning machines in. Not very exciting at all, just 2 air conditioning machines. So this room here at the top of the stairs is actually the 5th and smallest bedroom. So we decided to make this one into the office. So as you can see, it's a fairly small room. It's just got 1 small wardrobe there. It's not a walk-in wardrobe, it's just 2 little slidey doors. So we decided to get a nice big desk for our computer. And then we've got a magnet wall on one wall, which is all of the places that we've been and we've collected a magnet from. And then we have some photos on this wall as well. Just nice to remind us of some memories when I'm sat at the desk. And a bookshelf there that matches the desk, which we got from Wayfair, I think. And then we got this chair, I think it was from Office Depot. And I honestly spend hours in here. It's actually one of my favourite rooms in the house because I spend so much time editing and on the computer that I just love sitting there, and I wanted it facing out so I can look out of the room and down the stairs, which makes me feel connected to the house and connected to everything else that's going on in here. But yeah, I spend hours in here every single week. Like I say, editing the videos, uploading the videos. If you're new to my channel, then I do 2 videos a week. One every Saturday, which is my usual weekly vlog of what I've been up to that week. And then on a Wednesday, I do a shopping vlog, which is usually some kind of shops in the Central Florida area and showing you around and telling you what I've bought, those kind of things. So it's twice a week, which is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Any of you who make videos, you will know how much work that is. But yeah, I'm so pleased we decided to change this room into an office. Not change it, make it into an office. We knew we wanted this kind of space. Jason uses it as well for admin things that he might need to do for work, or just other admin work that you need to do for the house, bills and everything like that. And yeah, it's literally one of the most used rooms in the house. Now, another one of the most used rooms in the house is the laundry room. We've got the washer and dryer there, and a useless shelf that's above that you can't really reach. Now, I know you're all not going to judge me on my ironing pile. It's pretty big, to be honest. I am very behind on the ironing this week. But we look and we don't judge because everybody has ironing, don't they? But I love this room. I love the washer and dryer. I love the fact that they're raised as well, so you don't have to bend down. Front loading ones, Samsung, they do a little song when they're finished. And yeah, they get used more than I would like them to get used, because the more they use, the more ironing I've got. I do try and not iron everything, but you know what it's like, sometimes you have to. And there is a big cupboard in this room as well. This house is definitely not short of storage. And this cupboard I just use to store towels, bedding, and spare toilet rolls when we've been to Costco. Yeah. And then next to the laundry room is Zara's room. Now, Zara is in the middle of wanting to change some of her room around, so just ignore if you see blue tack on the wall. She's been taking down some posters and things, but this is her room. So I'm sure she'll get there of deciding what kind of style she's going to go for in here. But she has a wardrobe. Yes, this is Carl from The Walking Dead. She's got a wardrobe in there. And then she has a bathroom in here. Turn the light on so you can see. There we go. There's Zara's bathroom. We had that shower door fitted just a few months ago and we painted the walls purple, but other than that, it's just a little small, like ensuite style bathroom. But she likes having the bathroom in her room anyway. So there we go. There's my 14-year-old daughter's bedroom that is absolutely jam-packed with things, but she likes it like that, so there we go. And from the outside you wouldn't know that there was that many posters and things stuck on the wall. So then lastly is our bedroom. So our bedroom is on this side of the landing, so this is the loft room that we were in earlier, and then this is our bedroom. I haven't really done any decorating or anything in here. The walls are just still white like they were when we got the house, and the furniture is the same as the one in Zara's room. It's from Ashley Furniture, and the bedding is all from Target. So it's very plain and boring in here, I'm afraid. So it's not really very exciting bedroom. This is just a plain old boring bedroom. Like I say, we haven't really done any decorating or anything in here. Zara says it's a really boring room, but I might get around to that one day. But it's a very spacious room anyway. There's lots of space, bearing in mind that this is like the size of a Super King bed in the UK. I can't remember what they call it here. They've got a different name for a Super King here, but that's what it is anyway, like the biggest bed that you can get. I think actually maybe it's a king bed here, I can't remember. And then also in our room, we have this room ahead of us. Well, that's not a room, it's a cupboard. It's just another storage cupboard. It's pretty deep, and it's just got things like leggings and things like that in there. And then we have a walk-in wardrobe, which is not the tidiest. There is some things that I need to do in here, but it has plenty of space to hang everything up. So that is nice to have that. And then opposite the wardrobe is the bathroom. So again, we've got plenty of cupboard space and everything here. And then that's just the toilet in that room there. And then we've got the shower there. So again, not overly exciting, just a bathroom, nothing really special about it, but it is really spacious. And we've got 2 sinks there, so we can have our own mess on either side. And I did paint the walls this light blue colour. I don't really like it, but never mind, it's done now, and maybe I might change it again in the future. I'm not really sure. One of the other houses that we viewed that we liked, as well as this one, it actually had more of an open plan landing where the loft room was on the landing, and we did like that better than the way that this is set up now with the loft room that's off to the side, because we thought it was just probably more usable. But that particular house, we like the upstairs better, we like the downstairs better in this one, and we decided that overall, where are you going to spend most of your time? You're going to spend most of your time downstairs, and I'm glad we went with that decision, because I just don't think there's enough of us in here that are going to make use of that loft room to choose that over the space downstairs. So I definitely think that was a good choice on our part. But I think that's the end of the upstairs part of the tour anyway. I think I've showed you everything, and hopefully you can get the gist from the video of how the house flows. But basically it's just one big landing area here with all of the rooms off one place. So I hope you've enjoyed the house tour, and I hope you've enjoyed having a little bit more of a nosy around of where we live. I know that I'm a very nosy person and I like to see things like this, and I know everybody else does too. If you've got any more questions about the house, then drop me a comment below and ask me, and I'll answer more or less any questions, obviously within reason. But I'm always happy to help anybody who is going to be buying here, or they've got any kind of questions about how did we choose the house, or why did we pick the area, those kind of questions. It is a really difficult decision to make, especially when you're coming from another country and you think you know the area, but actually you don't really know the area that well. I've been coming to Florida since I was 8 years old, but I am still learning something every single day. It's definitely a lot different to what I thought it was going to be living here. Not in a bad way, in a good way. I love living here, but I am definitely learning every single day. And believe me, I was a bit of a know-it-all and thought I knew everything there was to know about Florida, and I certainly didn't. And we definitely didn't know everything there was to know about living here and paying the bills, what it was going to cost, how much money we would actually need to live here. But there is only so much research you can do on these things. You try your best to find out all of this information, and it's just pretty hard to find a lot of this information out. So when people say, oh, well, did you not do your research first? Actually, I did. Actually, I spent hours and hours and hours looking on the internet and trying to find out what this would cost, what that would cost, and what should we do, which area is better, which school's better. But honestly, it's all about doing it and being here and learning, and you will make mistakes. You will absolutely make mistakes. There's quite a few things that if I could do it again, I would change. But overall, we are very happy in this house. We were happy with the builder. Pulte were very good throughout the building process. We had a fantastic site manager. He kept us updated every single week. And when they've been to do all of their checks, I feel like they've been really thorough. Luckily, we haven't had many problems with the house. We've had a few issues with the air conditioning and a few other minor things really, but they've been pretty quick to sort it out. I definitely would recommend them as a builder. The house withstood Hurricane Milton last year, which was pretty close, and it was pretty noisy, and honestly I felt like the roof was going to rip off. And when I woke up the next morning, there was no damage, yet other homes in the area that were the same age as this house had lots of damage. So I do feel pretty confident moving forward that if we had anything like that, the house is built to withstand it. And as much as it wasn't nice to have the hurricane, I sort of feel that it did help in a way, if that makes sense. Overall, we absolutely love living here. We love living here in Central Florida. It's the best thing we've ever done. And well, for me, I've always wanted to live here. It's my place. It is my place. I just love it so much. To own a home here is honestly a dream come true. So I hope you've enjoyed having a look around our home. Next week, we'll be back to usual weekly vlogs. If you can, please like and subscribe, and please drop me a comment below in the box. It does help. Any questions that you've got, like I say, I will try my best to answer them. I really appreciate all the support for the people that come back every single week and watch my vlogs. You guys are just the best, the absolute best. And I will see you on Wednesday for shopping, and I'll see you next week for my usual Saturday vlog. I'll see you then. Bye.